Thanks for watching, everyone. If you own real estate in Maryland and you like saving money, you're gonna wanna pay attention to this video because we're talking about the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit, especially if you purchased a home in the last 3 years. So what is the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit? Well, this is a program put into place to help manage large assessment increases on your property taxes of your personal residence here in Maryland. This credit limits the increase in taxable assessments to 10% or less per year. This counts for all counties and municipalities throughout Maryland. So it's important to note that the homestead credit does not limit the market value of your home. It simply applies to the tax assessed value of your home. So if you look up your home on the real property database and you see that the assessed value is X, that's not really what we can sell the home for. That's completely different. The market value of your home is what somebody's willing to pay for it, and the tax assessed value is what the government thinks it's worth. So if you've purchased a home in Maryland within the last 3 years, you will know that property values have increased pretty significantly. So although the market value has gone up, when they come to do the assessed value on your home, more than likely you're going to see the property values increase as well, which is going to increase your property taxes. And this is where the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit can come into play and save you money. Next, let's talk about, do you qualify for the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit? Because there are some conditions you need to meet in order to be able to capture these savings. Additionally, you have to live in your home for 1 year before you can apply and have these savings go into effect. Now, traditionally, once you settle on the home, it's gonna take a few months before they can even record you as the new owner. So things just take a little bit of time, but once you're in the home for a year, and you can apply before that year, but it will not go into effect that your application is accepted until you followed and met all of the conditions, which I will link below. So this is a one-time application, and the reason is they don't want to just give it out for people who have multiple properties. So if you have an investment property, a rental property, you're not going to qualify. You can't get the tax credit exemption on those properties. It's only one time on your principal residence here in Maryland. So before you apply for the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit, we want to make sure that you're eligible, and also you want to check the status, see if maybe you already have it. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to go check out first the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit eligibility application here. So if you look at my screen, you'll see this is the website you want to go to, and I will link this below. But before we get ahead of ourselves, it's going to say you can find out if you already have filed an application by looking up your property here in the real property database. And that's what this looks like here. So if you go over to SDAT, which is a property search here, and we can put in first your county, and then you're gonna wanna search. I typically search by the street address, so you can put in that street address and then hit continue. You'll put in the street number and then the street name and search. And when you do that, it's going to take you to a screen, and right at the top, you'll be able to see the owner information and the address and some other information about your property. All right, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll be able to see the homestead application status, whether it was received, whether there was no application, whether it was approved, and that's gonna tell you, do I need to even apply for this, or do I already have it? All right, so let's say you don't have it. How do we apply for it? How do we take advantage of this credit and save on our property taxes if they do increase over 10% in the next year? Well, you want to visit the website here, maryland.gov, sdathtc.dat.maryland.gov. And this is gonna take you to the application, and you basically have two options. Now, when you purchased your home at settlement, they are required to present this form to you, and you can see they do have an online application here available, or you can do the traditional paper application. And the paper application looks like this. And again, you would have received this at settlement, probably given some instruction, but again, you can't apply really for it until after you've been in the home for a year. So check your settlement folder, see if it's still in there. You can certainly do this, or you can go to the website. There'll be a link, and I'll include it as well, to print this out. You can manually complete this and send it in. You're going to simply follow the instructions. It's just 2 pages. You'll put in the county code based on the county you live in, and the identification number, which you'll have to go back to the real property search, and at the very top, it's actually the account number, and you'll include that in here so they know property is, along with the address of the property. Then they will ask you these 5 questions, which are simply yes or no statements. And then you're gonna print and put in your social security number, and then you'll sign it and send it in to them, and they have the address of where this needs to go. So pretty simple. As long as you're comfortable filling this out, it's even editable here, so you could fill it out on the computer and then hit print. It's probably an easy route to go. And honestly, you'd think the online version is a little bit simpler, but let me just kind of walk you through that and what my experience was. Going back to this page here where we have the online application. Step one, if you do not already have an access number, you need to send your name, county, and full address to the email address here at sdat.homestead@maryland.gov. Kind of a process in the step that's confusing to me, but I would assume that when you send in the paper form, they create that number for you. In this case, you actually have to email them to get that number. And in my experience, I emailed them. I had a response come back immediately that indicated they received the request and that they would be in touch. And then 48 days later, I received a follow-up email with that 8-digit number that I needed in order to take the first step in the online application here. So 48 days of waiting for that ID number, not ideal, but once I received that, I was able to go through the steps here of choosing my county and then hitting continue, and then going through and entering the account number, the access number that they gave me, and then following basically those same questions that they ask you on the paper form, those same 5 questions, putting in my owner name, social security numbers, electronically signing and hitting send, and it accepted it, received. And when I checked the status afterwards, it says that it's received, but it has not been accepted yet. I've been in my home less than a year. Again, you can apply before that first year, but just don't expect until you've been in a year for it actually to go into effect. All right, so once your application for the Maryland Homestead Tax Credit is submitted, again, you can go to the Real Property Database lookup again and scroll to the bottom once you get to your property and see what that status is, if it's accepted. If it's not accepted, there is a disputable window of 30 days, I believe, that you can challenge this if you think that you should be approved for it and we're not. And there's also a phone number where you can reach out to the State Department directly, 410-767-2165, or you can email that sdat.homestead@maryland.gov email address as well, and they will give you support. I don't know how quickly they'll get back to you, but this is a great way to just save on any assessment increases on your property taxes over 10%. And again, with the market and home values increasing in the past few years, once every 3 years, they're going to assess your property values, and more than likely, because of the value increase, it's gonna go up, and so are your taxes. So check it now, check it today, see if you have it. If not, apply. If you have questions and I can help, happy to. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, we'll see you again soon.